Heyo, we are back again, Collectibles friends. Another day, another Collectibles Dad video. How the heck are we doing? Alf, how are you? Frank, good to see you. Automatic Comics. This guy over at Automatic Comics YouTube channel. I've never met him. I don't know him. He actually puts together some pretty good videos. And I have noticed since I have started to talk a hell of a lot more about supply. I'm not saying that it's only me, but there has been an uptick in supply talk, talking about graded supply. And Automatic Comics has been using a tool that is interesting, cgcdata.com. cgcdata.com to be able to see the increases in graded supply for different books. Now, before I get started here today, I want to also say I do understand the nuance in the sense that when we look at the census report, there's a lot of people that are cracking a slab. Maybe they're pressing and cleaning, or they're not. They're just trying to crack it open, send it back, try to get a better grade. Maybe it's in a CBCS case, or trying to get it over to all that stuff. So I understand that the census is essentially, I guess, maybe the worst case scenario as far as graded supply, because there is a percentage for probably all of these books where there's been a certain amount that have been cracked and resubmitted to try to get a higher grade. The same that is always the case in trading cards as well. No different. Probably all different types of collectibles. Everyone is trying to get the best grade possible for their collectible, and it's no different here in the comic book space. So Automatic Comics did a really, really good video. Took a lot of time on it. Probably a 30-minute video, but it was definitely worth the watch because it really hit on that graded supply side that I'm very much interested in, because I'm a person that would like to buy more key books, but I'm not in a huge rush when I'm seeing numbers like what we saw today. And at the very end of this video, I'm going to talk about an issue that I have, or I guess a problem associated with Automatic Comics video, and just something that I'm concerned about. So I will talk about that at the end, so stick around. So let's kind of dig into a little bit of what he's talking about, and I'm also going to talk about where I think that there is some highly vulnerable pricing. And what I mean by that is the potential to go down based on this information that we have. So he broke it down into modern, copper, bronze, silver, golden age. The modern age, of course we know, he's got that broken down as 91 and newer. They've added a lot of new copies of these books, and that's no surprise to anyone. The thing that's kind of funny, though, 1991 was, how long ago was that? 33 years now? That's not, that's a little ways away. You'd think 33-year-old books, but people, man, they took care of their stuff. They put them in poly bags. They bagged and boarded everything, whatever. And so 91 and newer, X-Men #1. One example he used that was really good was ASM 361, the first Carnage. That's a really popular book. They've graded a ton of them, and you can see that they're continuing to grade a lot of them. Over the last 11 months is the data that he was looking at. When we get to like a Secret Wars #8, which this is one of my all-time favorite covers for a Copper Age book, of course. Secret Wars #8, it's the whole like Spider-Man with the black symbiote suit. It's so awesome. It's got like the orange, kind of that glow, the reddish orange cover. It's awesome. It's a great book. I used to have it in a 9.8 and I did sell it, and I've always been like, man, I shouldn't have sold it. I wish I still had it. But now when I kind of look at the numbers and how many more are being graded, it's like I'll be able to get a 9.8, and hell, there's gonna be 9.9s of the book. There's probably gonna be a bunch of 9.9s. So the 9.8 that I used to have that I want back, I'll probably be able to get back, and that'll be fine at a lower price down the road. But Secret Wars #8 was an example that he used. 3,100 new copies on the census over the last 11 months, 26,000 total, but 3,100 in the last 11 months is a lot of new books. And even when we move down into the Bronze Age, we're looking at House of Secrets #92, first appearance of Swamp Thing, up 9% as far as, again, all graded copies. So we're not talking about 9.8s, but we're just talking about new copies hitting the census report. Up 9%, House of Secrets 92. Marvel Spotlight #5, one that I really, really want. The first Ghost Rider, I want that book so badly. It was up 8%. It's not terrible, but it's still a pretty significant jump for me when I'm looking at just how many copies. Now, again, are they all 9.8 copies? No, there was a new 9.8, but I'm looking to get like a 7.75, 8.80 of that book. So for me, are there going to be more 7.0s added to the census? Probably, yeah. We're not talking about a pristine book. There's probably going to be quite a few 7 or 7.5s. Hulk 181 was only up 6%, but they've already graded a ton of these, and even 6% is still a healthy increase when there is a lot of demand for that one. Wolverine number 1, the one that's on all the top 10 lists. Everyone going gaga for Wolverine number 1, up 10% over the last 11 months, meaning the overall census is up 10% only in the last 11 months. Keep in mind, guys, we got next year, we got the year after that, we got the year after that. There's going to be a lot more graded copies for a book like that, no doubt whatsoever. And it's all, the proof is there on IG. All you have to do is just go on social media and you'll see all the new copies that, oh, I found this collection, or, oh man, should I grade this now? And it's like, wow, there's just a lot of these. Swaggle, in the one video that he had thrown up, there was like 100 ASM 129s, the first Punisher. Granted, a lot of them were graded, but there was probably at least 12, 15 of the books that were not graded just in that one picture. One picture on the internet. Really what you saw in Bronze, Copper, Modern is 10 to 15% increases. So he was just using a few different books. You can't use 30 books for each. It'll be a 4-hour video. There's a lot of work that went into this, so I really appreciate Automatic Comics doing this. And it's probably case by case for each book. And you're probably going to see higher spikes for certain books. I'd love to see what the Dazzler one is. Look that one up. I'm sure over the last, 12, 18 months, there's been so much spec about Taylor Swift and Dazzler. I'm sure that one's up like 20%. I don't know. I don't have the data in front of me. But my point is that if you have a book where all of a sudden everyone's going crazy for it, I'm sure the census moves up quite a bit. Once you got to Silver Age and Golden Age, the examples that he did use, it slowed down quite a bit. The Silver Age books, it was maybe up like 3%, 4%, 5%. A lot of the ones that you're seeing bigger increases on are like Fantastic Four, 48, 49, 50, because of course we got Galactus coming. We got, Silver Surfer and all that stuff, Fantastic Four movie stuff. And so you are seeing more of that stuff that is getting graded. But Silver Age, the stuff that the ones he used, and then when we got into the Golden Age, and this is where people, I know all the longtime collectors are going to say, yes, there's safety in these Golden Age books. But now I'm going to tell you what I'm worried about. The main takeaway from the video was, of course, Golden Age is going to be probably less vulnerable from a pricing standpoint as far as increased graded supply than modern books. Just from the sense of look, 1991 and newer versus Golden Age, which he had listed at 1938 to 1956. Odds are they're going to find more X-Men #1 in polybags than they are 40 Superman books. I think we can all probably agree on that. But the thing that really worries me, or the kind of the variable that I think about all the time, is how many of these older, kind of stingier collectors have collected these for a long period of time that don't believe in grading. They're just not in any sort of a hurry to grade them. Even if they do believe in it, they're like, I'll get to that later type thing. Plus, you have to assume, too, there's costs involved with grading fairly expensive Golden Age books. Look, if you've got, older Superman books, if you've got these older Golden Age books, you might have to pay up a lot. Swaggle's video where he was showing kind of these Golden Age horror books, where I think it was a husband-wife team that had oh man, look at how many of this that they have and that they have. And I guess that's my point, is that there's a lot of ungraded copies that are they're not reflected on the census. So it can look when we run these numbers like, oh yeah, I mean, there's not much of an increase here, but it could just mean that we're delaying the inevitable. Because I've said here on this channel, I do believe that eventually a collector / speculator / dealer will want to get major key books, whether we're talking about modern, copper, bronze, silver, in slabs. And then with Golden Age books, they don't necessarily have to be major keys. It can just be, an old horror title that people enjoy, or Superman #20. It's not necessarily a key book, but it's a 40 Superman book. So you're going to slab it. I just feel like eventually all that stuff is going to make it into slabs. And so the numbers right now look one way. I think eventually in the next 5, 10, 15 years, they're going to look differently. And then, of course, you have examples like the Fantastic Comics story where the family finds the collection after 40 years. I actually just watched the Selling Superman trailer before I made the video just to get caught up, because I remember I'm never actually connected with the son, but I think it would be fascinating to talk to him. My youngest son is actually autistic, and it mentions in the trailer that his dad has Asperger's, which is related to autism. I think that would be fascinating to have a conversation with him at some point. Maybe I'll see him at Heroes Con. I don't know if he's going to be there, but maybe I'll reach out to him, because I think maybe I can grab a few minutes with him. But an example, though, of a huge, monstrous collection. Maybe some of that stuff was graded, that the dad had graded, but I'm pretty sure that the majority of it was not. Not to say that that's a typical situation, it most certainly isn't, but there is a lot of these types of things on a smaller scale where we find a golden age collection, we find a nice silver age collection. It does happen, and so it's just going to be interesting as we go, as time goes on. And like I've said, it's not as if like, oh, I'm not going to buy anything because increased supply means prices are going to go down. Look, there's also the demand element too. So I do understand that, hey, look, even if that supply goes up, there's certain books that are always going to be in demand. I'm just trying to make the best decisions for myself and my family. When I'm buying, I want to buy as smartly as I possibly can. And so it's fun, though, also for me to kind of crunch these numbers and try to figure out, okay, I want these 10 books. Which one should I buy first? Which one do I think is going to be impacted more by census change? Whereas which one do I feel like, it might be a little safer. Maybe they've already graded a lot of these, or maybe, demand's just strong on it, or whatever the case may be. So let me know your thoughts here. Great video here by Automatic Comics, and we will continue on, my friends. Stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.